guys? Welcome back to my personal channel. Welcome back to another live review. Chelsea 1, Sheffield United 2. Obviously, the other way around. It was a reverse fixture for this round, but it's another win under Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is still undefeated in 4 games at Stamford Bridge. And I say in terms of the way we controlled the game, this would have probably been the toughest one out of the 4 in terms of the way the game went. But we grinded out a win, which is something I say we were yet to see from Chelsea, even with the tight wins in the sense the scoreline from the Spurs game and the Burnley match. It wasn't necessarily one that was as easy as the other two. Spurs, there was just barely any threat that we had to deal with until the final 15 minutes. Burnley, there was actually no attacking threat. But Sheffield United, I think, was the best game that we've had to face all season in terms of Sheffield United had a really good game plan going into that game. They made it really hard for us to try and break them down. And obviously, quality shone in the end, and especially individual mistakes. Like, they completely fell asleep as soon as they got their equaliser. But there was also holes in that game as well. Like, we're going to delve into the left wing back situation. We're going to talk about the situation in the centre backs as well. But we're also going to talk about the positives as well. Mason Mount's performance, Timo Werner's man of the match performance as well, Jovic and how they eventually grew into the game as well. But before I go into any further, as usual, got to big up my guest. Craigo, what are you saying, man?
How are we?
Yeah, I'm good. What's with the black screen as well? Because you really came different with that.
Yeah, I couldn't be asked about the green screen, so the black just was up ready for the Super Bowl last night, which I eventually ended up not using. So, yeah, it's been a long 48 hours for me.
I thought you were just going to say it's like a mood right now because you're still hanging off it, because you're not the only one.
I feel like I'm at a funeral. Honestly, I feel like I should be in memoriam, looking at giving some really nice speech about someone. But no, the black screen was just simplistic. I couldn't be asked.
I'm glad one of us was able to appreciate the Super Bowl at least, because I can't lie, I tried. I really tried, but I was on my own for this one. I jumped on a Zoom call with my mates, but I just couldn't get into it, man. About 20, 30 minutes and I had to hop off. But as long as you enjoyed it, bro.
It wasn't the best one there's ever been, but they branded it for it to be a battle of the ages, and it really wasn't. So, it wasn't maybe the best one to ever get into. But I tell you, if you want to try American football, don't do the Super Bowl, because it's such an edgy affair. You don't see the best sides of the game that really make you go, wow. You get the really conservative football.
In those ones.
Yeah, it's like the Champions League final. Every now and again, you get an absolute belter, but more often than not, you get a really edgy affair, and it's just a bit kind of near. And then all of a sudden, you get this one big moment, and that wins it. But throughout the rest of the season, you get big moments like 3 or 4 times a game. So it's a bit more enjoyable for the neutral fan or for the newbie fan. But yeah, it wasn't the best one, but I still had to stay up for it, didn't I?
I'll take your word for it. Obviously, if you guys want to see the best NFL content as well, Craigo28 Sports, not Craigo28 Football. But smash the like and subscribe button on both. You already know what the thing is. I see you guys already asking about the Terry and Monster situation. I'm not going to lie, man. I am not discussing it. I am Mr. Neutral. He said he wanted people to say neutral. I am neutral. And that's exactly the way we're going to leave it as well. Big up Monster. Big up Terry. It is what it is. Let's leave past that. Let's go into the positive news. Let's talk about Sheffield United versus Chelsea. Another 3 points on the board. Toughest game out of the 4, in my opinion. Even the Wolves game. The Wolves game, there's circumstances around it. Thomas Tuchel's first 24 hours. I don't care too much about it. The other 3 games, though, brilliant performance, and we can still see ourselves building into it. But this is the first time where I thought we were genuinely tested for 90 minutes, and we passed that test.
I didn't. Obviously, the table has them, I think, bottom. I'm pretty sure they're at the bottom 3 anyway.
Yeah, they're still bottom of the table. They still bottom. Be.
They're a much better team than that. They really are a much better team than that. And give credit where it's due. They took point. They won at Old Trafford. They lost 1-0 to Man City. They're a decent side. They're not going to win the league, of course, but they are a decent side. They posed a different threat, which is one that I thought would come probably at a later date. I must be honest. I didn't see them posing that threat. But to be honest with you, and I do agree, it was the biggest test that Chelsea had of the 4 games, really. I mean, you'd assume it would have been Tottenham, but they weren't at the races when we played them on Thursday. They're a good side, and they made us work for 3 points. And to be honest with you, it's slightly lucky that we got it. And one thing I will also throw out into the mix, of course, we get 3 points. Let's all be a little bit happy. Very almost wasn't 3 points. And also, if they have Ethan Ampadu back, obviously couldn't play against us. The left centre half that gave away, was partly at fault for both of the goals. Are Chelsea scoring? I don't know. Not too sure. So, yeah, there's a little bit of, especially with the penalty as well. I mean, he was the one that kind of gave the ball away. And there's a little bit of, it's good, but it's still not where we need to be.
Well, in terms of the final end product for Chelsea?
Well, we dominated the ball for large chunks. They still had their possession, to be fair, but we dominated the ball for large chunks. I think we had 7 or 8 shots in general, 3 on target.
Let me have a check because I can get the stat sheet up for this game too.
I think off the top of my head, it was about 7 or 8 that we had on target. They had about 5. We both had 2. I think it was 2 and 3 on target in our favour.
Yeah, we had 9 shots in that game. Just let me get the share screen up.
Yeah, it was
2 minutes. Bear with me. Here we go. Yeah, 9 shots for Chelsea to Sheffield United's 8, but we both only had 3 shots on target. Possession
and their goal was an own goal.
Yeah,
so, I want to see us hit the target more.
But I'd say that's the same thing with Chelsea that we've seen for years as well. Like we complain about that after every single game.
Yeah, I do just think it's more prominent at the moment. Really, really is, and especially when we've had
a lack of clinical ability.
Yeah, but I think also we've had whether people want to accept it or not, we've had a tough old run of games in the last 2 months. Fixtures have hit us at bad points. Wolves, Everton, I can't remember what way around they were originally. Wolves, Everton, West Ham's not exactly an easy fixture either. Leeds because of potential banana skin. I mean, Arsenal, Man City, Villa are on decent form. Leicester, I could go on for a little while. The only FA Cup games break it up a little bit. We've had a tough old run, and I've still seen the same thing that I saw way back in, start of December, right the way through till now. And of course, that's not going to be Thomas Tuchel who's going to come in and change it in a heartbeat. But yeah, I just want to see us have more shots on target because we had 19 attempts or something stupid like that against Tottenham, and we hit the target twice. And now, the ratio's a little bit better, but it's still only 3 attempts on target. Luckily, we scored from 2 of them, but one of them was a penalty. So,
but then what do you actually think the issue is? Because I know you're not saying this is a Tuchel thing because it isn't a Tuchel thing. We had the same issue under Lampard. We had the same issue under Sarri. I'll even go back into Conte days. We had the same issue under him as well. We haven't been a clinical team for about 4 years as a minimum. So what exactly is it that we're missing in that case?
And when we are a clinical team, we win the league, or we're right up there to win the league.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line of it. I don't know necessarily what the problem is. I know a factor towards it has to be Tuchel in the way that he's using various different people. Because again, it's a new job for him. He wants to see what he's got. You play Olivier Giroud 1 week, you play Chilwell 1 week, you play Alonso next week, you play Hudson-Odoi, then you drop him. He wants to see what options he's got, and which makes complete sense because again, he wants to see his team and his squad in actual game situations. So it's very understandable. Is it going to impact us slightly? Yeah. But like someone like Olivier Giroud, oh Christ, what's that?
That's our list of top scorers for the season.
Tammy Abraham, I think, has been poor at multiple occasions. Giroud scored 4 in 1 game, so that's a little bit of a, a little bit of a downer as well.
There were 5 and 3 was the Barnsley game.
Exactly. We need more. We need more. And
I don't know what to make because here's the thing: all 3 of our strikers are up there in the top 3. But all 3 haven't necessarily impressed throughout the season. Like Olivier Giroud, it's been the same question where he hasn't started enough for the first half of the season. Yeah. But even with Tuchel's system, I've already said I have question marks with how much Olivier Giroud really impacts our team. Yeah. And the Sheffield United game, I'll give him credit. I thought his hold-up play was excellent in that game. It was just a struggle for options once he brought the ball down. He'd bring the ball down, but there was just too many gaps around him, so he could never actually find the player.
Do honestly, as well, with Giroud, nothing against him, I generally can't even remember him having a shot yesterday.
I don't think he did.
I generally can't even remember him having a shot. I don't know. But when your centre forward's not... I was going to say hitting the target. When your centre forward's not even having a shot, you've got some sort of a problem going on. But yeah...
most people speak about Olivier Giroud and they talk about how he can bring the best style players around him. They never really talk about Olivier Giroud as that clinical finisher in himself.
Yeah. I will say that the Mason Mount goal, to be fair, they were so worried about Olivier Giroud and where he was that they did leave space in for Mason Mount, which was really good. But a few players could have done that.
I know, but that's the thing about players with Olivier Giroud, the presence that they bring into the team.
That's the experience. And a lot of people will say, oh, the experience comes in from exactly how you play the game and how you link up and when you know where to move and whatever. But it also comes in from, you look at him. I mean, if you're a centre-half, you look at him and go, well, that's a World Cup winning centre-forward. That's France's second top goal scorer ever. I mean, I'm going to mark him because you're going to get mugged off if you don't. So he moves people around, which is really nice and great. But, I mean, I don't want to say carry because that's the wrong word, but the pace thing slightly does alarm me. And he has played a fair amount of football in the last few months as well, a lot more than he would have played last year. And it was around about this time last year, we came and brought him in against Tottenham, which I think would have been about 2 weeks further on down the season or something along those lines. And he had a real impact from there, just before I was going to say the word that would have got you demonetized, just before the current situation happened in March, and the season came to a halt. It had a little bit of an impact then, and then afterwards, again, Tammy started the first game against Villa, and then Giroud come on and made a massive impact. It was good, and it was impact. But doing it on a weekly basis doesn't seem to be Giroud's game. And although he hasn't played a lot in the last few, I still looked at him and thought he really doesn't look sharp. He really doesn't look, as good as he could do. And I wanted to see, I mean, I looked at Sheffield and the way they caused havoc every time they came forward, running at us directly. And I mean, they could have had 2 or 3 penalties, whether it had been a little bit of clumsiness from our defence or whatever. But they caused a nightmare and we didn't. And a big part of that, I mean, obviously Olivier Giroud, the centre forward, he does have to take a little bit of responsibility for it. Does well from the Mason Mount goal, of course, but we could have had more and we should have had more. But yeah, we caused our own problems yesterday, Chelsea. I'm not going to pin it on one person. This whole game isn't Giroud's fault. Please don't get me wrong in that. But I want to see more. All the time I want to see more. And I think you've probably closed it down now, but the Tammy Abraham stats, 3 of them came in a 3
of those. Get the goal stats up again.
Yeah, go on, get them up again. I mean, 2 of Timo's came against Southampton, which are Premier League fixtures. Brilliant. But then you look, Tammy, 4 assists, 27 games played. Is that 27? Yeah, 27 games played. Right. And then you've got 11 goals. We'll take out the hat-trick against Luton. Was it Luton? Yeah, Luton. The FA Cup. And he's now down to 8 with 4 assists. Well, you look at Timo, to be fair to him, not obviously had the most success recently, played very well yesterday, though, to be fair. 9 goals, 6 assists, does that say? 6 assists.
6 assists.
It's more impressive. It's a bit more fluid. And obviously
it's more well-rounded and that's more goal involvements as well. And that's what you want to see.
It's just a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more. Yeah, I suppose it is a little bit more efficient. And again, you get the best out of Timo Werner, which comes with him playing games and getting real amount of confidence out of him. You're going to see better numbers than that. And it will be stonewall every single week that Timo Werner is going to be top of that list. But yeah, no, I want to see more from Timo. I like what I've seen, and I loved what I saw yesterday for the 2 goals.
Timo Werner, I can't lie. He's shown exactly why a lot of Chelsea fans have been so patient with Timo Werner, because everyone says, "Oh, we got Timo Rata," and this guy is nowhere near like Alvaro Morata was as a striker for us. Off the ball, Alvaro Morata wouldn't press. He wouldn't bother to try and get involved in the play. He'd just stand around with his head down, just looking bare depressed and pissed off with himself. Lose every 50-50, get barely involved in terms of setting up goals for other players, and just be annoyed that players aren't passing the ball to him. Maybe have the odd one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but it's Morata. You know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Timo Werner, yet another game where he didn't score. Cool. You cannot tell me that this guy didn't have an impact on the game, though. 1 assist, a penalty to lead up to the goal as well, and was all around that Sheffield United defence. His movement was creating so much problems to that back line. His link-up play as well, because they weren't giving him any space to run in behind whenever he needs to drop deep. He was dropping deep and getting heavily involved with Ben Chilwell, with Mason Mount as well. And that's what you want to see from your strikers. Strikers, their number 1 job is put the ball in the back of the net. And I understand that, which is where he's been failing at. But the striker's job isn't solely just to put the ball into the back of the net, because Morata was scoring for us. He was our top goal scorer when we finished 5th that season. No one says he has a good season, though, because he was terrible. Football is 50% stats, 50% the eye test. It can never be 100% both. Both can one or the other you can use to try and justify your points. But unless you got both to back it up, your argument isn't fully solid. And that's why you can't say Alvaro Morata when you compare Timo Werner. Maybe you can say Torres. I can understand that, because Torres was similar in that sort of play where he did a lot more around the team. He just still couldn't put the ball in the back of the net for us. So I understand Torres. Shevchenko is disrespect. Morata is disrespect. Mishi is disrespect. Timo Werner is in a level of his own. It's just, again, man needs to put the ball in the back of the net. But talk to me about his performance yesterday anyway.
I thought he was superb. And the Chelsea fans are right to be patient with Timo Werner. I like what I'm seeing. Obviously, it's not the finished article yet by any means. But we're getting there. We're getting towards it. We're getting signs of what we could have. And it's very similar to Mason Mount. A lot of people were very quick to criticise him all the time. And, he should have buried the 2 chances, or the 1 or 2 chances he got against Tottenham the other day. Should have been able to hit the target, should have been able to bury them. But yesterday, he gets the opportunity and he sticks it at the back of the net. Patience, just patience. Other teams around us dropped points yesterday, so we could afford to have a little bit of a blip. We didn't have it. Brilliant. We didn't have it at all. But we weren't at the races really in certain areas, and we weren't as free-flowing and as good as we could be, and we still win the game. So I'm really quite happy with how Timo Werner is starting to look, especially in the last few games. People are saying, he's playing left wing. Well, he's not. He's playing as a left forward. He is a lot more central. I wasn't a lover of him playing left wing, but again, coming inside a little bit more, he just looks a lot more comfortable and looks a lot more threatening. Still moving out wide at times, many a player will do it and just kind of feed out from one side to the other and whatever. But Timo Werner does it and looks a little bit more comfortable. And again, you get a comfortable side of him. He gets adapted to the Premier League. That's where you start seeing big returns for him. But you do have to give him time. And a lot of people are really quick to jump on him, and a lot of players' backs as well. Which is, again, it's the same thing I saw with Lampard. I know loads of people are probably going to go nuts because I mentioned Lampard again. But people are very quick to jump on his back. And they're very quick to jump on a lot of players' backs, where it takes time, especially at the moment in this wacky world that we're living in. The guys come across to a completely new country, got to settle in, different league, different opposition. Next season he plays and go, okay, Sheffield. I mean, if they stay up, you go, Sheffield, they're tough. That's a tough game. You've got to play against them this way. You've got to do that against them. That takes time. We've played Burnley twice now. We've seen 2 different sides of Burnley. We whacked them away at Turf Moor. He played on the left-hand side. We played them again the other day. They were a lot more defensive. Different ways that they can play. And again, it just takes a little bit of time to adjust to, especially when you're coming in from a different league. It sounds like it's a little bit simplistic and a little bit obvious what I'm saying, but it still stands. And although he's a £50 million striker, still doesn't mean it affects him the same way. If he's coming from the Premier League and he's doing what he's doing at the moment, crap. Even I'll say that. But he's not. Torres, we were frustrated because he came from Liverpool, who were not exactly a bad side, to Chelsea. Should have been able to do better than what he has. But this is him. A lot of changes, a lot of things to have to be able to deal with. Same thing with Kai Havertz. Not been the player that we're looking for at the moment, but it takes time. So let's just all be a little bit more patient. These people are still going to have a value next year. If it doesn't work out, let's judge it next season. Don't judge it now. He had a very good game yesterday. He had a really good impact. He was probably my favourite player. I'm very happy he got man of the match. Him and Mason Mount, I thought, did wonders, but still need more from other people around him. And again, if the other people around him do more, then maybe Mason Mount and Timo Werner's performances go up to 10s rather than, I think they got 8s or 8.5s, depending on who you looked at. So it's trending in the right direction. That's what I want to see. I want to see it trending in the right direction.
Yes, and that's exactly why we've gone through this 5 minutes ago, and I'm going to still drop the points anyway. This is why we're more patient to Werner than we've been to other strikers, because he's giving us stuff to go off. Another thing as well, we're still not even really playing him up front. Like under Lampard, we gave him hella stick for not playing at the left wing. But the reason why, man was hugging the touchline like a substitute. And he was not comfortable in that position, and it was obvious. Timo Werner's now being played as a left forward, or like he said, a left 10. And there you've got him a lot more centrally, and there he's a lot more comfortable as a result. That's why it's still a case where it's like, cool, now he still needs to get more used to that position, but it feels a lot more easier as a result because it's coming to him a lot more naturally than it did on the left-hand side. That's why it's like, cool, I can give him a bit of time. Yes, he's still not putting the ball in the back of the net. And I saw a comment earlier say it. Yes, we do need to be more clinical because Atletico Madrid are coming up. But cool, we haven't been clinical. We have never been clinical. The one thing I will say about Timo Werner's misses, he has never really cost us any points with his misses.
No,
all of these big howlers have come either when it's been 0-0 and we've gone on to win the game, or it's been after we've already got the lead and he's just got a bit too comfortable for himself. But Timo Werner hasn't cost us games with his misses. This is another one where I'm going to compare him to Alvaro Morata. Alvaro Morata cost us games with his misses. Do I need to go back to the Arsenal match? Just as one example. What other games is there that he's cost us games in? There was the Huddersfield game where we finished 1-1. There was another howler miss in that match. What other... Yeah, do you not remember the Huddersfield game? 1-1 draw.
Do you know, I generally don't, I don't think, honestly.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Last home game of the season. Bro, I don't blame you. It was last home game of the season. They were meant to do a lap of honour for that game. I think only 5,000 fans stayed back through. It was proper tragic, but that's the state of that season. That's the state that season was in anyway. But Morata's cost us points. Timo Werner hasn't cost us points, which is why we can afford to give him time. I will say, just to segue on to the next point before we just go round and round about Timo Werner for another 10 minutes, talk to me about another influential performance by everybody's favourite son, Mason Mount.
Oh, my favourite son.
Everybody's favourite son, because I'm done saying he's one manager's son now. He's Chelsea's boy.
He's top quality. And again, he's 22 years of age. He's having a massive impact. He was probably the best player on the pitch. He got a goal, so maybe boat rating could have got bumped up a little bit more, but I think it's both very comfortable. There was an argument between who you gave man of the match to, so it's level. But I saw people for weeks and weeks and weeks. Again, patience is key. Get him out of the team. We're only playing because it's catering to his strengths. So many various different arguments. I'm not even going to give credit to some of the stupidity I've seen.
That's a good comment. I can't lie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, go on.
Maybe the mum's albino or something. Maybe it's a complete difference.
I can still call him legally, so we'll take that for what it is.
You've adopted him. Fuck
him. I've adopted him. He's Chelsea anyway.
No, look, he's been having a great impact. I think, and I'm going to stay by it on the 8th of February today, innit? Something like that. Player of the season, calling it already. I'm calling it already. I thought we had a good shout.
I'll be real. That's not even like shocking. No. That's not even a shocking statement. Like, he's up there. It's him or Thiago Silva, in my opinion.
But this is the irritating thing. Is that about 2 months ago,
also,
or even a month and a half ago. Oh Christ! Even a month and a half ago, month. Oh, can't even speak. Even a month and a half ago. There we are. That's better English. People were calling for him to be dropped, saying that he's one of the reasons why Chelsea aren't playing well. So people have clearly got this agenda against him, which is completely utterly ludicrous. Every single pundit, every single person who's got eyes is basically turning around and saying, "Well, Mason Mount is the guy." Yes, Sadiq, get in. Thank God he's got a trim as well. No, loads of people are saying the same thing about Mason Mount. It's good performance after good performance after good performance, and again, he gets the odd thing wrong. Yeah, fine. The miss at Tottenham, chill. Makes up for it the next week. Without his goal yesterday, we don't win the game. It's important. It's crucial. He's quality. He has an impact. He can do it both going back. He can do it going forward.
I've witnessed my guy. I'll send you the link as well if you want it, bro.
I just love him. I do generally just think he's quality. And Chelsea rattled so many people today. Did you see what they tweeted?
Oh yeah, what was it?
Just proper Chelsea. That was it.
Oh,
just
the one that makes them out. I love that. It's the first time I've
Chelsea.
seen them actually say the words "proper Chelsea" on their Twitter page as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was proper Chelsea. Either way, it was some proper Chelsea inspired thing. I think it was proper Chelsea, but yeah, loads of people are going to doubt him and loads of people are going to critic him and whatever, especially yesterday after Foden's fantastic performance, give credit where it's due. Mason Mount can go and do the same thing. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Give him the opportunity and it can happen. Mason Mount's had to put the team on his back at multiple occasions this season. Foden hasn't really. So you allow proper quality to come around. Oh, is this a tweet? Please tell us this is the tweet. Yeah, yes, love that. Look at that.
Also, because we're here as well, and I saw the thing pop up. Get that little thing back up. That was beautiful. Ooh. That was absolute dirt. We ain't getting demonetized to that either. So yeah, I can let that run.
It's just superb. It is brilliant. Again, Foden has never had to put the team on his back. Mason Mount has, and he's done it. Fair play to him. You give him a little bit more talent around him, and he can do that kind of shit all day long. And he can just go and just be wonderful going forward, and he can really focus on the best parts of his game. So I just think he's one of the best players in England at the moment in terms of what's coming through. There's a lot. Foden, Saka, I could go on for ages. Maddison, a lot of good people. And from someone who does actually enjoy international football, I must be honest, loads of people will probably criticise me for it. I'm really looking forward to watching England over the next 5-10 years because we're going to have one hell of a team with all these youngsters, and Mason Mount's going to be an absolutely crucial part of it. So I am loving life at the moment, even if people like Foden are playing for other teams. I'm loving life.
I do want to ask you that as well, because I can actually get the opinion of someone who watches the international teams. Yeah. How excited are you for the next 5-10 years, especially compared to the hype that we've had for previous generations as well? What do you think is going to make this group stand out from the rest?
I'm not sure. I can't. Obviously, there's so many unpredictable. There's so many unpredictable.
It's a lot of speculation. I understand.
Yeah, but I think what I see. I mean, Lampard and Gerrard, could they play together? Who knows? They were both kind of established players by the time that they reached the England team and whatever. Where both of these guys, Foden and Mount and Maddison as well, when they've all been involved in the England setup, and Grealish has played 2 games, I think, or something stupid like that. They're all young enough in terms of England experience to be able to really grow and kind of get their own style. Of course, it changes on who the manager is and whatever. But you've got to have match winners. You have to have match winners in your team to be able to really go and win tournaments. And as much as we had in previous years, Lampard and Gerrard in the centre of the park or Scholes or whatever, we had some really good people that could pop it round. You look at someone like Spain, who've got Iniesta and Xavi, and Busquets did a little bit going backwards and whatever. But you look at those two and go, both of them could win me a game. And I'm not saying Mount and Foden are going to be Xavi and Iniesta. Please don't get me wrong on that. But they've got the ability to go and win a game. Just a little through ball, a little pass. And again, they are so young. They are just so young. I'm really looking forward to it. Got to work around it because again, there is a lot of talent, but a lot of talent that can be nurtured in the right way for the next coming years. Jadon Sancho, Raheem Sterling's not exactly that old either. So many different possibilities for England. And we could have a really nice team. But again, it depends on who's in charge. That's a really big thing.
Definitely depends on who's in charge. Sadiq, I do want to get your early thoughts just because you jumped in. Chat to me about Timo Werner and Mason Mount's performances yesterday, bro.
Yeah, both of them brilliant. I understand if some people say Werner was man of the match. I understand if people say Mason Mount was man of the match. They both were good. So Mason Mount, I've got it wrong on him in like the past couple months. He's impressed massively, and now he's got that goal. That goal that we want to see. He just needs to continue that. The way he took it with his left foot, very, very good. I didn't expect it personally. So
not an easy chance. Not an easy chance.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an easy chance. So very, very technical as well. So very, very good. I have to give it to him. The flick that you showed on the screen as well, amazing. It just shows how much confidence the boy has right now. And he's very, very important to our team. Arguably, probably the best player currently on form for the team, alongside Thiago Silva, of course. So looking forward to see how they do the next couple of games, especially with the games that we have coming up. I expect wins. And Timo Werner just needs that goal. He got an assist. He got 7 penalties this season. I don't know if he's in all competitions, but he's going to get there, hopefully.
Yeah, we're going to also move into maybe the more negative side of the performance. We're going to start with the centre-backs. And for the most part, I thought we handled Sheffield United well, but there was shaky moments in it too. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just be an absolute hypocrite about it, because other than that awful mistake for Sheffield United's goal, I think Rudiger had a good performance past that, but it's also the issue that we had to have the error to get to that point. I'm not going to say too much on it, because other than that, if we take the mistake out, it was probably a pretty decent performance from Rudiger, other than a couple misplaced passes here and there. As for Laqueta, I also thought was solid. As usual, I'm going to big up the Danish Maldini himself, who shone and was, in my opinion, no agenda as well. The best centre-back on the pitch yesterday as well. What were you guys' performance on the centre-backs today? Craig, I'm going to start with you, because you don't really sound too convinced by what I said. So let me hear what your thoughts are.
I don't know if Christensen was the best centre-half on the pitch yesterday, but...
In a Chelsea shirt, I'll
No. Even in the Chelsea shirt, I'll stand by that as well,
really,
to be honest.
Man?
No, I mean, there was one incident. I mean, we can't show it, of course. There's one incident that really highlights it, which is when they basically run through the entirety of the team.
Was that the first 30 seconds? Because the first 30 seconds...
No. God, that was another chance. I forgot about that one. Jesus. It was in the second half where we were kind of very much camped back in our own box, and one geezer, I think it might be McBurney, just runs and just darts his way through.
Was it the one where you needed the Rudiger block at the end?
I think so, yeah.
I think I recall which one you're on about.
But again, it would not have surprised me if one of them dangled a foot in. They didn't, obviously, but I just looked at that and I just thought, that's, I hate to say the word, but comical at times. It
was. I am going to say, though, Christensen was on the far post marking one of the other players. I don't think he was involved in that situation.
But he's meant to be the central centre half.
He wasn't coming in through the central, though.
He was.
He was coming.
The one I'm thinking about, he was.
He was. He skipped past Jorginho. He skipped past everyone. He skipped past everyone in the middle.
No, he was coming off the right-hand side. Unless
we might be thinking about different chances then, but that just highlights.
Are you thinking about the one where he went through like 2 or 3 players? It was the last-ditch Rudiger block that sent out for a corner.
Yeah, on the left side.
Yeah, that was the left-hand side. That was Ben Chilwell and...
He must have been a different chance. I think it's on a different chance. I'm not going to lie.
It might have been a different chance. It might be something.
He skipped through past everyone. Like, Jorginho put the worst tackle in. Like, he didn't even try or anything. He just put a foot in and went past him like nothing.
We might be talking about different ones, but continue on anyway.
Yeah, I worry about that kind of thing, because a better team mullers you on that. They absolutely, they put it away and it's not even a question. Foden, for example, Man City, if he does that and draws 3 people in, he plays one back heel and he just lays it on a plate for someone like Gundogan, who would just have a simple shot on goal. Or, the centre half or the centre forward goes back across goal, flicks off a centre half's leg and deflects in and whatever. There's so many different variables. We just let them run at us on a few occasions. And it also does come from, I know people are going to hate me, but the Jorginho Kovacic pivot as well. They're not exactly wonderful. Kovacic is really good going forward. I really like him. And Jorginho's forward passing has improved a lot. But defensively, I still look at Jorginho and think, oh, dear God, Jesus.
You think that's still a bit out of the way?
Just get him out of the way. Just get him somewhere else where he doesn't have to do that. And it could cost you another time, or against a better player who knows how to, or who wants to win the foul or whatever. I just thought at certain times at the back it was comical. And of course, the own goal, speaks for it bloody self. But I'd say another thing, again, it comes from the back three as well. I don't get what the obsession was for Chelsea from playing out from the back. All found to keep the ball and possession based. We were trying to play out of our own box. You don't have to do it all the time.
I saw a lot of that, especially in the first half. And I thought most
do it all the time.
The way Sheffield United set up. Because I thought we were just getting... we get the ball into middle, and then we just struggle to figure out what our next path forward was. And then we just end up going backwards and sideways again. But they packed out the middle so well.
But do you know what I was really baffled by? From goal kicks, I can't say how many off the top of my head did this and how many did that. But we had Olivier Giroud on. And I very rarely saw us go long to a target man that could have taken 5 or 6 players out of the equation.
I saw it sometimes. So I was saying as well, the thing with Giroud is he was taking the ball down well. There was just no options around him.
Exactly. But again, that comes from That comes from what Chelsea's plan is. If you go, do you know what? Actually, we are obviously going to lump it up front. Then everyone moves up. Everyone moves up, and it's still one of the things I worry about, especially with the Jovic midfield pivot. Is Kovacic really like him, really impressive. Jorginho, good technical player. Do sometimes question his value of 55 million quid, but neither of them have got height. Neither of them have got that are going to win the area ball in the centre of the park. And if you're going to play Giroud and Werner up front together with Mason Mount in behind, that's 1 out of 3 players you're going to aim for that's got a bit of height. You then throw Jorginho and Kovacic in the mix, that's 1 out of 5 players. It's very obvious who it's going to go to and who's going to be the target. That's the reason
why I said we're struggling so much under Lampard, because we were pushing for crosses so much. And even if Giroud starts, Giroud's our only aerial threat. So we've gone from 0 aerial threat to just limited aerial threat.
Yeah. And Tammy doesn't have the same impact in the air either.
Exactly that. But that's also why I've said I've always said the biggest thing we're missing is a natural DM, a tall, imposing centre-back who's the defensive midfielder, who's a destroyer. That's the one profile of player that we're missing in our team.
I'd have gone after Decore from Watford, and that will probably annoy a few people. But when they went down, I thought he was a superb player, and now he's playing really well for Everton. And Peter Acton was a massive shot.
Now, what were you saying again, bro?
Decore from Watford at the time, now at Everton, he's doing absolute madness. Big unit, centre of the park, half decent ball player as well. He's not going to break the game open at all, but he's going to be able to do the defensive side of the ball. So whoever's with him in the defensive pivot can go forward and try and open it up and create an opportunity out of nothing, like what Matic used to do. Fabregas used to run forward round like a headless chicken and Fred Little throw balls in. Great. But you've still got to have the little bit of height. And it also helps from corners, because I tell you, every time we whipped in a corner yesterday, it's just shit. It was just so shit, because you just knew nothing was going to come from it. Mason Mount didn't add a few that didn't really actually beat the first man. But, I mean, we were aiming for Rudiger or Giroud. Well, Giroud weren't moving a lot because everyone was like, oh, great, we'll just put 3 people around him. Rudiger couldn't get the separation, and when he didn't work out.
We've seen how poor we've been in the air, though, anyway, since Zuma's been out of the lineup.
Yeah,
Thiago Silva, I give him credit, but his jumping's gone down since he was in his prime. We do just have to accept that.
Oh, and he's not as big as people think he is as well. He's not as big. He's not like a 6'5", like absolute, brick shit house kind of.
Yeah, he's like more 6'3", 6'2", I think.
I think he might even be 6'1".
I'll check.
But again, same thing. He's not the height of the 6'5" centre half, so he's already missing out on a few inches when it comes to attacking the ball. So it's just another thing.
Yeah, he's 6 foot straight.
6 straight. I'm taller than him. So
that's craziness then.
Yeah.
Hi, Bitmus, bro. Come chat to us. What are you saying anyway? I'm going to leave a link in the description too. But talk to us about the centre backs and also Jovic. And do you think they struggled yesterday, or do you think they bled into the game a bit more?
I wouldn't say Kovacic and Jorginho. They didn't struggle yesterday, in my opinion, not at all. Maybe there were a few a little blimps, but we can't say 1 or 2 blimps to say that to describe the full 90 minutes of how they played. I think they had an excellent game together. I think they held the midfield together. I do agree with Craigo in a sense where the midfield does need that physical player in there to help out, like to bully the midfield, to jump and win headers, things like that. So that's a good point, and I really do think we need a person like that in our midfield. And the defense, I think the defense were solid enough to get us over the line against Sheffield. Maybe if we were playing against a more, structured attacking team, maybe we would have conceded a goal apart from the own goal. But in all fairness, I think they did well enough. But we definitely need Thiago Silva back ASAP.
Yeah, I think the one thing we can all agree on is, regardless of how we think individuals played in that game, we did definitely miss Thiago Silva's composing presence in the team today. That's definitely something we can all agree on. Definitely the passes forward too. I think I can respect Christensen's technical ability, but Thiago Silva is absolutely next level in his ability to play out the back. And I think there's very, very few players that you can even get that sort of ability out of. So we're definitely missing Thiago Silva's presence a little bit. But I do want to say, if Thiago Silva is back in, who would you want to see in the back three? With Kurt Zouma still injured as the perception.
Leave the same, innit? How it was before. Obviously, I know you love Christensen, bro, but leave it how it was, innit?
Oh, so
Rudiger.
we're putting Rudiger back in the lineup. I can't be arsed, man. Can't be.
He done a right. Look. He done a embarrassing own goal. I get it, but to keep his head up and make some important interceptions, clearances, I felt like he still had a decent game, man.
No, I'm not saying he had a bad game. That was the first thing I said. Like the first thing I said on it was, regardless of the mistake, I think he brought himself back into the game excellently straight afterwards.
Yeah.
I still say AC had the better performance, though.
Yeah, of course, 100%. It's just AC is probably in the middle, man. He's just that middle guy in the centre back.
No, but you need three players
as well
on the ball.
Yeah, for real.
Isn't that what you got? Players that you can be confident with when they got the ball at their feet. Rudiger,
so who pings it then?
With the ball at his feet.
Who pings the ball then if Rudiger in?
Christensen's long passing is good. When did we ever say it was bad?
FIFA?
I didn't say it was bad, bro. I just haven't seen enough of it.
The thing I worry about with Christensen is he's not fast. So if you've got Dave,
and
you've got Thiago Silva, and you've got Christensen, nothing there screaming fast. So all it takes is someone like McGoldrick to come on earlier yesterday, and he has a field day. Just runs. Vardy just runs. Where at least with Rudiger, or I think it'll be Zuma eventually when it comes back in, and when he's fit again, we've got that little element of pace in there. But I don't think you can afford to carry all three with pace, because you then become very easy to play against again, which is the same problem I had for Chelsea for ages.
No, you're onto something when you talk about pace. Like, that is a very, very slow back three. I think Christensen's the fastest of the three, which is probably saying something in itself. So, yeah, I could understand Rudiger coming back to the lineup if we're talking athletically. Zuma just speaks for itself. He has to come back to the lineup as soon as he's fit. Like, I'm already done with that. IO ability's reeked for weeks ever since he's come out injured. Another place I do want to talk about, though, the left wing back situation, because we're looking like we're really struggling on that point. Ben Chilwell, I will give him credit. There was phases where he looked good. He was heavily involved in a link-up play for the first goal with the setup for Timo Werner for the assist. But other than that, it wasn't really the most inspiring of performances. And when Marcos Alonso came on for the last 15 minutes as well, didn't really inspire me that much either. What were your thoughts, and who do you want to see play as left wing back in the future? Because this is becoming a really big question mark on the side. Vic, I'll start with you.
Honestly, we have to go with the best left wing back that we have if we're playing in this system that Tuchel is playing. I think Marcos Alonso has to be that left wing back. Chilwell is better in defensive and in most areas of playing on the wing back, but if we are depending on the wing backs to help with the team going forward, then it has to be Marcos Alonso. Even though we're not much of the Chelsea fans would love to see him back in the team, but if we can look back at every season when we play a back three or a back five, whatever you call it, Marcos Alonso is the best left wing back in the world. There's not a left wing back better than Marcos Alonso. So if we're playing a back four, then it has to be Chilwell, because he's more what would I say now? He's more flexible playing that left back, because he knows the job he has to do, go forward, and he knows he has to come back and help the centre backs as well. So it all depends on what system Tuchel chooses to play. If we go back four, Chilwell. If we go back five, Marcos Alonso.
Here's the thing, though, and I'm understanding the argument mainly because Chilwell's performances still aren't really justifying it to me. But half the reason why we signed him was because of his abilities going forward. And Monster said it perfectly on one of his streams as well. He's a much more of an attacking fullback than a defensive one. So with that in mind, it's like, what's to say he can't work as a left wing back? Right now, I still think it's a question of form, and I'm not really judging him based off these last two games, because it is only 2 games, and he's come into Tuchel's reign on terrible form, and if anything, he's just continued it. But Craigo, let me ask you as well, what's your thoughts?
I think you play Marcos Alonso. The only difference is, again, it's pace. You have to worry about the pace element. You can deal with it if you've got the right back three. Probably yesterday, more likely the right decision to play Chilwell, because he had a little bit more pace to be able to get back and recover. But But Chelsea really needed a third goal yesterday, and Marcus Alonso looked at that and went, well, it's an opportunity for me to go and state my claim. I have to play it every single week as the left wing back. If I get on the score sheet or get an assist or whatever here, game's won, I'm the hero kind of thing, which makes complete sense. But they started attacking a lot more down our left-hand side, down the right, for them, when Marcus Alonso was on. And the reason for that is because he does get caught out when going forward. Again, we were good at many times yesterday, but we were far from indestructible, shall we say, in terms of from a defensive point of view. And Marcus Alonso was the weak point with that. The only advantage from me for Marcus Alonso over Ben Chilwell as well, in a defensive capacity, is he's taller. So he can get away with heading balls away at the back post, flicking something on or whatever he wants to do. He gets away with it a little bit more. But if this was Marcus Alonso 5-6 years ago, then I think, it's not even a question, I think, at the moment. I don't think we're even sitting there having the conversation. We play him. But it's not as straightforward as it has to be him every single week. I think you do have to look at it and still go, well, I like it, but maybe you play him for the first 65 minutes of a game, 70 minutes of a game, and when you go 2 goals ahead, you bring on Ben Chilwell and you stop the pace element going forward or whatever. But again, it's the best person for the system. So you play Marcus Alonso, and I agree. I think in terms of the role that we need him to do, there's no one better in the world that would be able to do that. The only difference you maybe could say would be Alphonso Davies, is because he's rapid, and that's about it. So you have to play Marcus Alonso.
Yeah, right now I still see it as a form thing. Right now, Marcus Alonso is having the better performances and he's in the better confidence right now. So even for the next game, Newcastle is a similar sort of team that we're going to be facing to the same recent games we've been facing as well. So there's not too much of a question mark or a worry for me if Marcus Alonso starts the next game. This is more long-term. And long-term, I still think Ben Chilwell is going to be more the answer for us in that position than Marcus Alonso is. But Sadiq, we haven't got your thoughts yet. Let us know. You got any different points to make?
Dalhuno, Baba Rahman, bring all these men back. No, joking. I think everyone said it.
Back, I can't be asked.
I think everyone said it. Well, you made a good point. Form. We just have to judge in the next couple of games. But right now, Marcus Alonso's the guy for sure. I'm surprised no one talked about Emerson.
Yeah, I said this the other day. I have this really interesting dynamic that we signed Emerson as a left wing back originally, but now we're playing left wing back again. He's not even getting a look in. So
yeah.
Again, cup game coming up on Thursday. Maybe gets an opportunity, but also as well, same thing. I see Thomas Tuchel thinking, well, we can go and win the FA Cup, so let's play a pretty much as strong a side as we can, get the job done. So it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't get a chance. But I just find it very interesting that we signed Emerson as a left wing back, and now we only ever want to use him as a left back, or apparently a left winger that we played him for at one point, which I don't know why we did that, but either way. I don't know why he's not getting a look, at least a look.
Probably in the cup. If not in the cup, he'd probably be sold soon.
Yeah, then he's got to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not that he's done anything wrong either.
Had one, because we've been speaking about opportunities. Surprised that he hasn't had one, but
yeah,
same case. He'll probably start the Barnsley game at the very least, won't he?
Kepa.
Oh, we're going to throw Kepa tax into this one.
Jesus Christ!
Got to be done. He's got a feature.
Well, you know what they're going to say then if Barnsley win? They're going to be, yeah, you lot played Caballero in the other league game. That's why you smashed us 6-0.
Are we home or away in that game? Are we home or away?
Away.
Yeah, Barnsley away. You remember Barnsley away in the FA Cup last time?
Don't you start. Wait, don't you start.
Yeah, you remember that shit, man. 2008 was unbearable, man.
Kudicini with the madness.
Monday morning after getting spanked 1-0 with your first team by Barnsley in the cup. Bun all that. But yeah, revenge is coming. As a final topic before we wrap up the stream, I do want to talk to you guys about the situation regarding Atletico Madrid. And these men are looking a bit of a mess right now. We already know the situation with João Felix. He is suffering through situations involving the pandemic, which I do hope you guys understand that we're not going to say for monetization purposes. But he's also not the only one. Hector Herrera is now out with the virus. Thomas Lamar's also now out with the virus. And Atletico Madrid are desperate to play the game on home soil. but Spanish government aren't allowing anybody. And when they say anybody, they mean anybody into the country, which even in the case of football and the amount of money in this sport, we ain't getting let into the country either. So travel restrictions on those arriving into the UK means that it is impossible for Chelsea to play in the Spanish capital. And Atletico Madrid are looking for new venues as a result. We are potentially looking at a neutral venue for the first leg, which, if it is somewhere in Eastern Europe, which is sounding like the case, I'm hearing Warsaw, I'm hearing Romania as another example as well. Another small advantage for us. Whatever travel it takes for us to get there is double the time it takes for Atletico Madrid to get down there as well. Also removes home advantage. It's a team that's been unbeaten at home all season. Maybe that works to our advantage as well. But guys, let us know what your thoughts are. Craigo, let me start with you. Atletico versus Chelsea to be confirmed. What's your points?
In Warsaw, brilliant. I don't know. I think I'd be all right with Warsaw. I don't know if I'd be all right with all of them. I must be honest, but yeah, it's a weird one. Big up, Monster. It's a weird one because you've got. I was saying to you just before we started, we're not allowed to go over there. Fine, that's Spanish government restrictions. Same thing with Liverpool. They're not allowed to go over to Germany, so they're now going and playing in Budapest at the Puskás Arena, which is becoming some sort of a new normal. But are the Spanish government going to allow Atletico to come to London and then come back into Spain?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting topic in itself.
I don't know. But
because there's going to come a point where they contradict themselves.
Yeah, someone's got to do it at some point. So I saw a very interesting tweet earlier, which is saying if you have to play one game at a neutral venue because of Spanish government rules, and you had to then play the second game at another neutral venue because of Spanish government rules, then would you still have home and away goals and everything? Would you still have different advantages? Because it kind of seems a bit pointless. So I don't know.
Actually,
I think it's a little bit
imagine
different.
you getting knocked out by away goals. You ain't even travelled away.
Yeah, you've not even played an away game or whatever. It's a bit nuts. But I'm looking at it from an us point of view where we could go. I mean, every ground that's being spoken about and obviously been confirmed for the Liverpool game against Leipzig is Eastern Europe. Everything's Eastern Europe. If you had to fly when we did Europa League, when we had to fly to Eastern European opposition, like 2 out of 3 weeks or whatever it was, we were going, oh, for God's sake, what an inconvenience this is. But now it's in the Champions League. Apparently, it's fine. So I don't know. I'm not too sure.
I mean, straight after that first leg, we got Manchester United in the league.
On my birthday. Brilliant.
Oh, raw. I hope we ain't
Thanks, Premier League, for that one. Cheers.
I can't be fucked. But yeah, like we got the Manchester United game straight after, and I think after the second leg as well, if we don't beat Barnsley, but if we don't beat Barnsley, we have Liverpool straight after that away.
Yeah, because it would be FA Cup quarter-final weekend, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that comes with its own problems as well. I'm trying to get Poland's numbers up. Poland's numbers are way better than ours, but they're still struggling. They're still getting thousands of cases every single day.
Everyone
it's not a case where they're down to the numbers. And
everyone is. But the other thing as well is you've got to go to a country where there's not a team playing in European competition because they're going to need it 2 days later.
Romania is significantly less, though. I could back Romania.
Yeah, but again, like Sweden have dealt with it quite well, to be fair to them. But the only decent ground I could name off the top of my head would be Malmo. Well, they're in Europa League, aren't they? So they're going to need their pitch.
Yeah, they'll need it the next day. Here's the thing I'm thinking as well. Like, with all the money in football, I don't get why it would be so hard for them to let one football club in, test them, find out if they have anyone who's positive, and then just move on with the game. Like, I understand the rules, but in special circumstances, they never go ahead with it anyway. There's always a loophole around it.
To be fair, remember first game back after lockdown, Arsenal flew up to Man City on the day of the game because they couldn't stay in a hotel. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so you think it's a case where Chelsea can literally travel there, go to the ground? Actually, no, that would be hell for them, that travel.
Oh, no, it would be hell completely. But, I mean, 2 hours on a coach and 2 hours on a plane is a little bit different, but not exactly a million miles different. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe you wouldn't train on the pitch before the game. Okay. But other than that, you've still got strict team rules anyway. So I can't see it being a problem. But I mean, clearly someone else can. So I don't know. Maybe money talks, but the fact that they've already changed one game for the Liverpool game one, I already think it's just, I mean, the cogs are in motion already. So I just think it's going to happen. But I mean, it's not as if you've got to go to it's not as if you've got to go to Atletico Madrid with 65,000 screaming Atletico Madrid fans, is it? So it's a home field advantage, but it's not exactly the same way as it has been previously. And we've gone there and won anyway. So
that's the thing as well, because it feels like it's a massive thing over nothing. Because I understand like protecting the countries. I understand this pandemic is more important than any sort of sport, but football players have to be one of, if not the most protected groups of people in a job in the world right now. Yeah. They're getting regularly tested, maybe week in and week out. So in this situation, from a footballing sense, does it really make sense for us to be doing this? Because I understand if it's just any man going from Spain to England, fine. I get why there's restrictions and all that. These are football players. They're there for a job that is probably not for them, but for the sport, worth hundreds of thousands, maybe not even more if you're talking about the TV rights, if you're talking about the jobs surrounding the game and everything like that. I could go plenty further into it, but I haven't thought too deep into it. But you know what I'm talking about. The amount of money in this sport and with how protected these players are, this doesn't really make sense. Vitmus, your thoughts?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, we understand that they're just being cautious about the virus and they don't want it to spread, yada, yada, yada. But basically, you and Krego has already, said it out there. I mean, in a case where it's football and it's their professional players about their job that they're doing, I think they should just let the game go about and just test the players, as you said, make sure all the guys who are coming in, like if we were go to Atletico, we'll just have all our members of staff who are traveling and the players be tested. And, from there, anyone who is not who's positive, we just isolate them. They can't come near the other players or come near the Atletico staff and players. So, I mean, they should let the game go ahead at Atletico, man, and just test the players and deal with it the way that they have been doing it for the past few weeks. I don't know what why they change it now when it's just the same thing. Nothing has changed. The players are not mixing. They're keeping the bubble. So I don't really understand. It's not like we're coming with the whole Chelsea fan base and you can't really control the fans coming in and things like that because there's too many. It's just maybe about maybe 25 to 30 people coming from the Chelsea Football Club. So we should be scared than them. We're going to their country where they're more like Spanish and other people that has already been there and been around the virus. We are coming in with a bubble. So I don't understand, man. So anything they choose to do in the end, I hope it works out to our advantage, because I would love to see Chelsea beat Atletico Madrid and move on to the quarterfinal, because it's been a while since I've been there. And ever since being a Chelsea fan, I've always used to be in the semi-finals, so mostly. So we need to get back to things like that, and maybe, who knows, we can go all the way.
Maybe. I was holding a lot of confidence for the fact there might be single leg, but there's no real hope of that now. They're all still talking about two legs, so
too much money lost.
What?
Too much money lost if they go for one leg.
Yeah, it's 2 legs.
Again, makes sense. Everything's money in this business, so you do have to look at it from a money perspective. You're correct on that. Sadiq, everybody wants to hear your thoughts on this, so chat to me, man. What's your thoughts?
I'm sorry, man. I'm working at the same time, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. That's what I do.
Has anyone actually got the vaccine? Like 3 people in my family have actually got it right now.
My nan and granddad have, but I haven't.
So I don't know if footballers can get it right now. Probably they should be able to. They got the money to get it, if you know what I mean. So
probably be the first ones for it, knowing them.
That's what I'm saying. So then you can probably go out there where we need to go.
It depends on what chemicals are in there, because for all you know, there could be something that get you suspended. Remember O'Donnell and everything.
Fair point. But yeah, I mean, I think 2 neutral venues could be a positive for us personally. I think home and away. Like Craig said, what's going to happen with the away goals and all that stuff? We don't know. I think what's going to happen is when the day actually comes, they'll probably decide it like 24 hours before it. Unfortunately, we're just in a difficult circumstances right now, so we just have to take it every time.
Yes, so guys, well, all right, Vitmus, you're on mute, bro.
Can we
let
speak
me
about
ask-
Boateng?
Oh yeah, we're about to. We're going to go through that because I found out the source ain't even all that. But yeah, apparently Jerome Boateng is now linked with Chelsea. I mean, because
I'm joking. I'm
like,
joking.
this one makes no sense. I don't even know if we're going to go on that for too long. Jerome Boateng to Chelsea. Do you lot really think this transfer is happening? Yes or no,
No.
guys?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. No.
Wait, you
Oh,
said
Sadiq.
I'm just guessing it, man. You know, YouTubers, we just
No.
guess it
I
out
was
of
going
it.
to go for it, but then we spent so much time actually discussing the Chelsea Sheffield United game. I was like, yeah, fuck it, because we were going to chat about it for 10 minutes just to say the whole rumor's a load of BS and he ain't
I'm not
joining.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It's absolute BS in it, but we just
No
gotta
way
entertain
we
it.
get Jerome Boateng, man. Like, that's the biggest load of BS. Like, I get it if you need that sort of profile of a centre back, but we have Thiago Silva and he is better than him in every department. And we're looking to keep Thiago Silva for another year, maybe even 2 years. So why would we need to add another player? This one would be more likely to just be looking for a final payday as well. Why would we go and bring Jerome Boateng in? It makes literally no sense, especially we're already talking about how packed our team is in front in the centre defenders. Anyway, we have 4 centre backs to the club. Tamori, who God willing returns back to the side, even though we know it is what it is. It's done. He's over. It's going. Then we've also got Mark Gay. We've got Xavier Mbuyamba. We've got Malang Sarr as well. What do we need Boateng for?
We need experience, though, man. We need someone to come in and be that guy that already has the experience. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're linked with Upamecano. Talks about Marquinhos. That's someone that has experience. So we need someone that's established to help out Thiago Silva, man. He can't always do it by himself.
Sadiq, I love the devil's advocate game that you're trying to play.
I gotta
really
do
love-
it, bro.
No,
I
I
gotta
love
do
it.
it.
Like, we're trying, and for some topics it works. Boateng is not joining us.
No, but
there
I'm
is
saying we
no
need someone with
way
experience,
we're
dude.
signing Boateng. Like,
We need someone with
in the comments,
experience, bro.
Go tell me a reason why we've got like, if we want to go for stat padders for trophies, and we have the stat padder in Thiago Silva, like, so we don't even need that one. Boateng, quality defender on his day when he was playing in his prime, but
Those are over, bro.
and we've
When
got
he was
Thiago
playing in his
Silva,
prime, he still got
who's
mugged up
even
by
still
Messi.
over the hill by his standards, but he's performing at such a high level, you're barely even noticing it.
Brazilian man.
A bit too many.
Bro,
Vimus, what are you gonna say?
no, I'm saying Thiago Silva is a Brazilian man. So Brazilians, natural talent, man, for football. So you
And
More
expect,
marketable and all.
huh?
Sell more shirts as well.
Yeah.
I was also going to say as well, the thing with Thiago Silva, it's also about his recovery state. This guy, and I've said it so many times before we even start the season, this guy's longevity is crazy. The guy recovers his body the same way Cristiano Ronaldo does, with like the hours of prep before a game and after a match. There's a reason why PSG fans, the only thing they were speaking about when Thiago Silva left was his longevity and how long he can last at the top tier of a game. They said he was like Maldini in terms of his longevity and how long he can last at the top level. You could see him playing at that top level to about his 40s, they were saying. Obviously, we will wait and see. I'm not going to sit here and throw too much out of the hat, but they're leaving a lot to be optimistic by. So if we need that profile of a centre-back, we have that profile of a centre-back already. And we already have someone who is so bled into the game and wanting to keep themselves at top level for so long, they're protecting themselves at that level. Boateng ain't going to do that. So rumors are going around. I have no clue where these rumors are coming from, but let's just end it here. Jerome Boateng ain't coming. Jerome Boateng ain't coming. We've discussed it here. We can forget about that now. That is done. But guys, big up the panel all for jumping on as usual. Craigo, your link is in the description. Vitmus, Worldwide Chelsea, links are in the description down below for you guys as well. I did want to put them on, but the title was just too massive. But big up the panel for jumping on as well. Links in the description below to all 3 of these guys' channels. Check us out tomorrow where we should be streaming something. I'm not sure what we're streaming, but we'll come up with something.
Invite? Am I getting invite?
What?
Am I getting invite?
Of course you're getting an invite. The invite's open to anyone, man. You already know. I saw people on the comment section asking as well if they could get involved. I might do some sort of like just weekly phone in where I just throw the StreamYard link in the description below and see who wants to pop on, because I've been getting a couple people asking that. It seems like a decent idea. If you guys want to see that too, let us know down in the comment section below. But for the rest of today, we are out, guys. Take care, like and subscribe. Check out all of these guys on their socials as well. Check out Sadiq's channel. Check out Sadiq's new video as well. I was going to leave in the comment section, but I've just lost the video for it too. I've found the link, guys. There's a link to Sadiq's new video on his new channel. Guys, check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys very soon. Take care and up the Chelsea.